Too damn tight.
With Peugeot once again, quite literally, we had to, not that one, this one here, they're not going back on, by the way, they're going in the dustbin, but we had to heat that, literally heat it, and it went with a bang, and I was putting some force on it, and it's like, my arse cheeks were clenching together undoing that. Once I get the rear ones off, they're going somewhere they'll never be found again. And the rest of the bolts are tight, so we'll clean them all up, put a bit of grease in them when we put them back together so they don't seize up again.
Yes, we shall.
But anyway, the whole purpose of getting the wheels off, we're taking the wheel arch liners out. Peugeot 308, the front grille. Flappy, flappy, flappy. It's like a guitar strings. So, we have a new brand spanker. Look at that. We shall fit it. Yeah, these grills, I'm breaking it off bit by bit, but they've literally glued it into place from the factory. So it's not just a case of unclipping it, you've literally got to get rid of all the glued parts. So we're getting there, we've got all this side off. It's just a bit of a process. Yeah. Oh my God, there goes my blade. But yeah, once I break off all these glued bits, then the whole lot will come off. This is a good old, I use it as a scraper, but I mean it's very good for getting the silicone off windscreens when you're fitting a new screen. Very sharp. I've literally had to use this blade to get these poppers free very carefully. If you don't bend this will snap very easily. And then it just fits in the new one. It poppers in. The grid is in. There's just these bits, these tabs that come over and click in. So they hold like that. I literally had to pull this piece up because these bits here, they kind of come round like a hook and go in underneath in two places either side. But it's all in. So I actually think I haven't got to glue this now. It's all going to be held in nicely just with the clips. The old chrome trim, which literally just pushes in. So I'll clip all that in and that'll be it. You know, cars look flipping ugly about the bumper fitted. All their guts hanging out. You could take the bumper off my old Morris Marina, the chrome bumper, and it would still look, it would look better actually. It would look slicker. Now they just look like, yeah. All right then, it's all back together anyway. What an exciting job. A new grille. But it's all blingy blingy, so all nice again. Off you go, you can stick the bumper back on and good luck.
Yeah, I'll see where it pops in.
Gee. Guess what's back? Ta-ra! The lovely Nissan Elmera, the car that's full of junk inside. Woohoo! I have the task of doing the MOT repairs. Driving up here from the old garage down to the car sales, I wanted to take a deep breath, but I just couldn't do it. I had to hold my breath coming up here. Anyway, let's see if we can get this car fixed. New exhaust, shock absorber, and let's see what else he's doing. Airbag light. Right, this, there's my lightometer. This is the lovely, hang on a minute. What? Isn't that a baked bean can wrapped up? That is, isn't it? That's a bit of a baked bean can. It is, isn't it? They've got all the little ribs in it.
Sure.
Oh my God, they've... Now I've got to get these bolts off. Someone's done all this. They've taken all the time to do this elaborate repair. Look how they cut all the bits like that and flanged it. Done all that just so they ain't got to pay out for a new back box. Now they've got to pay out for a new back box. They've got to pay out for a new back box because I failed it on the MOT. The repair was dog shit. It wasn't good enough. So I failed it. Now they've got to change it anyway. Olé, one shitty shock absorber. I think the last time I checked, it's not supposed to do that. Can you hear that? It's supposed to be tight pushing that down. Anyway, what I am finding interesting is, I failed this car on the passenger headlamp, no beam pattern. I've subsequently fitted a new bulb, and I fitted it correctly. There's only one position that bulb can fit, but as you can see, there's only a driver's beam image there. The driver's headlight has been replaced. It's quite clean and shiny inside there, whereas this one's really old. But the bulb's working perfectly fine. It's nice and bright, but there's no beam there at all. So if I cover the driver's one out, there's no headlights. So what's going on? That is what you call a projector headlamp lens in there. So there's something going on with that headlight, because it's obviously not the bulb. So I'm going to get a second-hand headlamp off eBay and give that a try. Yeah! Flipping heck. These rear tyres, just there, the cords are showing. I failed that. So, we're going for a little walk. My input to this job was to take the wheel off the bloody car. His problem now. Tyre fitter extraordinaire. I've got a Volvo XC40. Once again, can't move the back wheels because the handbrake puts itself on. Even though I've got the engine running and I took the handbrake off So I've got to get in it again. There's the flipping switch down here. Now, let's hope the flipping handbrake stays off. It pisses me off. This is the kind of society we're living in now, where the control is being taken away from us and everything is being done for us electronically with these stupid cars and their stupid handbrakes and their stupid steering locks and their stupid electronics. I want to live in a world where I'm in control of the car I'm driving. There, I've had my rant. And all these stupid chimes, I'm telling you. I know what I'd like to do with them. So would you like to see today's exciting MOT failure? Despite from being flat, I think we ought to have a new tyre there. The fuel tank is literally leaking from this pipe. It's wet and there's a nice little puddle of fuel that's dripped out of it where the rubber's split, so that's a fuel leak, that's a failure. Up here, passenger rear, we have a corroded brake pipe, so that's a failure. The obligatory holes in the outer seals, this is a little transit connect by the way, so you'll get used to seeing holes on these vans just like that. And by the way, the outside of this tyre doesn't get any better. The mirror, well, it's just flapping around doing its own thing. And the driver's headlamp needs a bit of a polish. So to be fair, I've seen a whole lot worse than this. It's actually worth doing. Now this is what I'm talking about. 1999 Land Rover Defender. No fancy bullshit, no fancy electronics, just plain old fun in one of these machines. This one, in actual fact, has had a new chassis put on it. It rotted out, and that's one of the big problems with these old vehicles. Even though they're Land Rovers and they're supposed to last forever, they don't. They do suffer from corrosion. And having a new chassis, the guy who actually repairs this, he's told me all about it. They took the body off, they fitted a complete new chassis, and it's all been looked after very well after that. So I like the colour, it's like the British racing green, it's very nice. But yeah, this is what you can have a lot of fun in. This is proper driving. When you're driving one of these, you know you're driving a vehicle. Anyway, I shall carry on with my MOT. And by the way, this is a tick. It's a lovely freezing cold morning. The ice is finally melted on top of all the sales cars. We have a DPF regen to do on a Fiat 500L, which I guess means large. Can't see nothing initially wrong with this, apart from the DPF is sooted up. So I'm thinking it's just been run around town too much and not actually given a chance to probably get the engine heated up in the first place to have a decent run to actually have a regen. So I'm carrying out a regen now. I've replaced the oil and filter anyway, because that wasn't even any oil shown on the dipstick. So I've given it an oil and filter change, given it a regen. Everything seems to be operating as normal. Usually if there's a problem anywhere, it won't carry out a full regen. But at the moment, it would appear to be working. Going by the scanner, 59% complete. This is the total engine. noisy. There's a bit of a haze of smoke, but not that much. Anyway, I'll let it do its thing and see how it goes after this is done. See, it was in limp mode, so hopefully it won't be in limp mode no more. I took the Fiat for a run down the road and literally it's got no go in it. Like the turbo isn't working. So I go down the bypass, give it a good thrashing, and of course when I got my foot down, the engine light comes on, get back, and it basically reading no turbo pressure is what the problem is, which I knew the turbo wasn't working anyway. I've just literally taken the hose off the inlet side of the turbo, and the turbo is spinning okay, so it's not seized or nothing. But the wastegate actuator here is connected via a vacuum pipe which goes around down there, somewhere in the darkness down there, to a solenoid, a boost pressure solenoid. Now when I start the car up, the little bar in there which operates this unit is going in like really slow, and I reckon it should go in quite fast. So I reckon that the electrical solenoid, the vacuum boost solenoid down there, is duff, and that's what the problem is. And I'm pretty convinced it's that was the problem all along, which caused it to sit up on the DPF. Once we get that turbo fixed, this will fly like a butterfly. Or should I say fly like a bird. We decided to go for the whole exhaust because down here, just here, when I started to undo the bolts, it's just breaking. It's all full of holes now, so we'll change the bloody lot, shall we? So, Tyler's fitting the new headlamp. We didn't realise that as a popper at the bottom, so we pulled the bumper off at the corner, but I should have known that, but hey ho. Anyway, more to the point, in here, I don't know what's going on in there.
I've got to give it some fine finish.
Yeah, the second-hand headlamp needed a little bit of a clean. But anyway, I'm going to switch the lights on now, and hope we've got a beam pattern.
That's actually quite good. Oh, it needs adjusting a bit.
It needs a little bit of adjustment, yeah. It's coming down. There. I shall recheck them on the headlight tester, but I can get my Allen key back. We're about right now. Well, I'm doing the retest. The emissions have just passed. The old rubbish in the car hasn't got any better. 2 new tyres at the back. The headlight's in. The beam is now working. All set correctly. The airbag light is off, which was connections under the seat. Shock absorber fitted. Obviously the exhaust is on and the emissions are fine. So this Nissan Elgrand gets to live a little bit longer. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've had enough today. But I have a Insignia, I think it's a 1.8 petrol. Engine light on. P0171 fuel trim system lean. I know exactly what that is. There she is, give it a little tickle. That's your evap valve. The diaphragm in there split. I did show this with another car I've done a while back where I cut it open. I might cut this one open as well and show you the diaphragm where it's all split and it's letting the air in, making the system lean, the vacuum system. So yeah, I get all the good jobs, me. Insignia, exhaust front pipe, held in by 2 exhaust mounts. One of them is completely snapped off. The other one is rattle, rattle, rattle. So we're going to chop them off because the nuts won't undo, they've rotted away. Bingo! Look at the grinder. I need a new one. Just before we go home, every mechanic needs a good torch. Without the torch, you're screwed. I just got this one off Amazon. It is a Windfire rechargeable LED lamp, which this is similar to the lamps I use. I like to have the beam coming out like that, rather than like the lantern type ones. But anyway, I've just got this one. It's a rechargeable, and it feels good in the hand, you know what I mean? Anyway, shall we see how bright it is? It's not a laser, but... Whoa! What do you reckon? Hold on a minute. Stay there.
It's very bright. The flashbang in my eyes.
If I press the button, it dims down, it can flash, it can strobe.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna give me a seizure.
I like the strobe effect. I might keep it on strobe effect, you know.
Jesus Christ.
It flashes and then it goes off. Cool, eh? Anyway, I'll switch the lights back on. These ones here, these Nebos, these ones here, these are really good torches. They've got the flash bit and the slide bit. The only trouble is, I keep dropping them. And that's the big problem. They break after you drop them half a dozen times. This one's not quite as good, but it's bright. At least I can see what I'm doing. This would be my MOT torch. Take 2, we did work out the actual zoom function. Watch this. Well, hey. I see, said the blind man to his deaf wife. Little Ford Kuga here. Immediately, with my newfound lamp, I am finding inconsistencies. That's a complete exhaust blow there. I can literally see through that flange into the exhaust pipe. That's an MOT failure. It's like, wow, I can freaking see everything. It's too bright. I literally have to turn the power down 1 notch to make it a little bit dimmer because it's blinding me. But wow, it's like putting on a pair of super Specsavers. We're changing brake pads on an Insignia. This pad here, state of that. Although, to be fair, that come off when we were trying to get it out the caliper. Under the normal run of things, the pads shouldn't break up like that. They've been in there for a flipping long time. And these linings, they can literally fall off when you're driving. Sometimes if you let them get that low. On an MOT test, you can fail a brake pad if it's less than 1.5 millimeters in thickness. But when brake pads get down to that kind of thickness, you know, so in some cases, when the pads have been in for years, they can literally fall off the back plate and are very dangerous. So whenever your brake pads get low, you really ought to change them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
brakes is the most important part of a car, otherwise you can't stop.
yeah, you've got to be able to stop, ain't you?
Yeah.
You've got to say no.
For all you boy racers out there.
Yeah, you can't just keep going. You've got to learn when to put the brakes on. Anyway, just when I thought the Insignia was finished, code 16 pops up on the dash. Tail lamp. And you know something? There are 6 Phillips screws to hold the flipping lamp panel onto the lens. There. Well, hey, no codes. That's what we like to see. Now I can get on to the next job. That's a Volvo V40. Passenger rear wheel bearing's noisy, but also the wheel won't come off. What a surprise. And this is not good. These are the threaded pit of the bolts that hold the whole hub assembly on. They are in a bad way. Oh my God almighty. They're Torx 55 bits, 4 of them in the back. I've hammered my Torx bit into the head of the bolt. So, and yes, while I undo these, my arse cheeks are clenched. That's number 1 undone. 1/4 of the way there. Well, I'm on bolt number 3. They've all loosened, so that's good news. By the way, this is literally a Ford Focus underneath. The old familiar suspension arms and springs, and the hubs, the bearings are the same as the Focus. This one isn't even that bad. You probably can't even hear it. But if you got like 50, 60 miles an hour down the road, you'd probably hear it rumbling. When it was hot, it was actually fairly noisy, but now the car's cold, I can't really distinguish much wrong with it, but it's definitely knackered. It's definitely noisy, should I say. So, needs doing. Where this car's been sitting around, the discs are pretty damn rusty. I'll tell you what, a bit of old wire wool brings them up a treat. The key thing to remember here is rather than going gung-ho with an air gun and probably stripping the head of the bolt, is to clean it, fit your tool bit in the end of the bolt properly, and take your time. That way you might just get it out. Patience is a virtue. Now you know. Well, the new one has arrived, shiny, shiny, and it comes with a new set of bolts. Woo! And because this wheel bearing is just a boring old job, I'm going to shut up now and say no more about it and just do a time lapse. Vauxhall Mokka, we had code 89, which apparently can mean a whole plethora of different things. But when I connected our scanner up, read the ECU, it was coming up with glow plug number 3. And just for reference, even though on this engine, the timing chain is by the gearbox, number 3 is actually this way. So you read it from what would normally be where the belts are, where the auxiliary belt is. So number 3 is this way across, 1, 2, 3. And number 4 is by the actual timing chain side. So we replaced the glow plug. And as you can see, it's quite black. I even put my multimeter across it and it's got quite a bit of resistance in it. So that is definitely faulty. I've just started it up with a new glow plug in it, and code has gone, the spanner light has gone, and we're all good. Now we can go home, Tyler. Guess what? I have my boost solenoid for the old Fiat 500L. I had to get this off Amazon actually, because none of the parts suppliers around could supply it. They said it was dealer only. But Amazon sell them for £55. So I shall put it on and keep my fingers crossed. How bloody frustrating. It wasn't this. Oops. It was literally, this one here, the thicker pipe goes to your turbo wastegate actuator. The little small pipe, vacuum pipe, comes off there and goes to the EGR valve. Where it went on the EGR valve, it was leaking. And you know what, to look at it, you couldn't even see it. But when I got a hold of it, the pipe, I could feel it was a little bit loose. And then it all became clear. Well, whoa, it's only a 1.6 litre, but for this little Fiat, that's quite a big engine, believe it or not. It goes well. What? God almighty, it's wet, I better not go too fast. But gee, woo! I'm going to slow down. Brakes, anchors. Oh, yeah. One last burst. Oh my God, it's fixed. I'm happy. I should put the under tray on underneath the engine and call it a day. You know, to be fair, it's probably worth replacing that solenoid anyway. The car is 10 years old. I'll tell you something, this old fix it again tomorrow Fiat, the state of them vacuum pipes, that was pretty bad actually when you think about it. But anyway, it's all fixed, that's another job done. The next one I'm going to get in now is going to be the Insignia with the evap valve. And we shall change that, and maybe I'll cut the old one open. Right, Mr. evap valve. Stick the old hoses on. One connector. That's it. Problem solved. Now let's get to the fun part. Okay, let's do it. Oh, yep, it's coming out. There's the old diaphragm. You might not see nothing wrong initially, but if you pull the rubber just there, it's split. Last job of the week, Saturday afternoon, Audi A5. It's only the 2 litre diesel, so don't get excited. Driver's front coil spring, MOT failure, just broken about 3 or 4 inches off that. So I've just fitted a new one, and yeah, that weren't coming out. So I unbolted the arms from the inner part. So I'll bolt them back on, then bolt it all up. It's actually, it's gone okay. The new spring's on, so. And as I stand here in front of the inspiration wall, the video you're about to watch, if you can be bothered, is me fixing my gimbal, which was broken. I put a new battery in it, and it seemed to be all fixed. And I thought, great, because I love that gimbal. A couple of days later, it took a massive dump on me. It was fully charged up, and then all of a sudden, within the space of 30 seconds, it went flashing red and died completely. So I've had to literally buy a new one now. So this is an appropriate time to finish the video. So with that, adios. Well, it's not just cars that go wrong. In order to make my videos, quite often I have to use a gimbal. Unfortunately, this has also taken a dump. I've had it just over a year now, and literally I would charge it up and the battery would be flat the first time I use it within the space of like 2 minutes. Then it won't charge up. You'll plug the charger in, it won't do nothing. I'll piss around a bit, then all of a sudden it will start charging and it will seem fine. For a couple of days it will work all right, and then the battery will just go dead, like into the red. So anyway, I kind of figured that the battery is the problem. And this one here, this is out of it. I've taken it apart, and I've taken the Chinese battery out of it. £13 for a new battery, I thought. Not a bad deal actually. I didn't want to fling the gimbal away. I know they don't cost much. This was like just over £100. I could just buy a new one. But you know what? I bought this off Shopee in the Philippines, and it's kind of got sentimental value. That's why I don't want to get rid of it. I want to fix it. I don't know why also this Chinese battery has 6 wires coming out of it. I can't even be bothered to search it. All I know is, all I can really do with this is fit a new battery. So I went to Amazon. No, it wasn't Amazon, it was eBay. And I got myself a new Chinese battery, a Cameroon Sino. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this battery in, and I'm going to hope it fixes it. Because if it doesn't, I will have to buy a new one, won't I? Anyhow, it's pretty simple. As long as you're careful, I'm not going to do no more damage. So I'm just going to move the telescopic part to one side, hopefully without breaking any wires. And I'm going to plug my new one in and see if it's going to work. I'm going to push this wiring terminal in. That's just made a little beep. Just want to make sure that's pushed in properly so it don't come out of place. It's a little bit tight in there actually. Which is good. It made a little chime as I pushed it in. So it's showing the battery light now, and it's got a flashing red light, which basically means the phone's not connected to the gimbal. But the little one below it showing the battery percentage is full, which is good. That was flashing red before. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this telescopic part, which just slots in there like that. Our battery just sits in there like so. On the old battery, it's got little foam pieces. So I think what I'll do is, rather than that jiggle around, I'll try and take the sticky foam bits off this one and put it on that one. Well, I got the first one off, which came off quite easily. So I'm going to stick that on there. And this one, oh yeah, lovely. stick that on. And these are sticky both sides. So now the whole thing can sit there, tuck the wires down the side, and that's it. All we've got to do, pop the cover on, which I believe just clicks together. Yep. Okay, there's a little plastic plate here which has to press in here. That's it. And there are 4 little torque screws that go in here. I haven't got the right size screwdriver, but I have a little flat screwdriver, tiny one, that actually fits in the end of these torque screws, so I can tighten them all down. So I'll get these 4 bolted in. I have the washing machine going, by the way, so if you can hear the noise in the background, that's what it is. This little piece is just the base plate where your little tripod bit with the legs on it would screw into it. So if I can put this back in the right place, that will slot on like so. And there are another 4, but these ones, they're not Torx bits, they are little Phillips screws. So in you pop. Well, 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 I do believe we're almost done. One little foam pad that goes on the base, pop that in, connect up my little tripod with the legs. Now we're ready. Judgment Day. Bing! It makes the familiar bing as we open it. Camera, you need to focus on the gimbal. I should get my mobile phone, connect the old magnetic bracket up to it. Do your thing. Hot-ah. There we go. It's all working as it should be. Yes, indeedy. Here we go. Yeah, man. That is a success. I had to lift the camera up. It's all working now. If anything is wrong, I will let you know, but I'm pretty convinced it was the battery. It's not a very big battery anyway. For what this does, that's a tiny little battery. So I'm happy I replaced the battery rather than buying a new one. And like I say, it's not the money that bothers me, not at all. It's the sentimental value. You know, my entire life, I'm one of these people, and a lot of you will relate to this, I'm one of these people that will take something apart, be it a gimbal or a washing machine or a transistor radio, when we used to have them back in the day. If something was wrong, I would rip it to pieces, even if I didn't have a goddamn clue what I was looking at, just on the chance that I may see something that wasn't right and I could fix it. And many a time I have been able to fix things, especially electrical items, where you see loose soldered connections, burnt out wires, stuff like that, been able to repair it, and you feel it gives you a sense of achievement that you've saved yourself some money. That's one of the things, but it's just the accomplishment of fixing something that was broken. I like doing that. That's why half the reason I fix the gimbal rather than just buy a new one. Today it's too much consumerism. Just fling it away, buy a new one, who bloody cares? If you can afford it, it doesn't matter, does it? But at the end of the day, it matters to me, especially this. I bought it in the Philippines, so it holds dear to my heart, this little gimbal. So I love it and I want to keep it and I want to make it last for as long as I possibly can. Anyway, that's it, my gimbal's now working. I can take it back to work, and wherever I go, if I go in the woods or wherever, and I can now run around with my camera stabilised. Even though the iPhone is pretty well stabilised all by itself anyway, I still like to have the gimbal. If I'm doing a time lapse or something like that, it's a handy tool to have. So that said, let's get going.